So I'm going to show you the technique that I use to come in here and scrap out the electric motors. There's a lot of copper in here that make it worthwhile to take the time to cut these apart. So that's what we're going to get into today. I'm going to show you the tools, a little bit different than the first time. Still need a pair of channel locks. Always good to have a big sledge to hammer some parts out. Chisel. A little bit different here. You need an external Torx number 8, and I believe this is a number 10. Impact driver, angle grinder. I always save my small cutoff wheels. A lot of people say it's not worth it to cut these open because of the cost of the cutoff wheels. So if you save the smaller ones that you have from different jobs that you do, it's really not a cost. So these are 5-inch wheels that have been burned down. You are going to need one larger depressed center cutoff wheel. When I say depressed center, I'll see if I can't show you. The center of the wheel has an indent, which allows you to get closer to the material that you're cutting. I believe this was a 6-inch wheel for my grinder. Definitely need a pair of safety gloves, safety glasses, or a face shield. I use the face shield. If you have welding gloves, or if not, a good pair of leather TIG welding gloves also work. These are Vulcans from Harbor Freight, so that's a good value. And that's essentially really all you need to cut these bad boys apart. So the next clip you'll see is me starting to cut them apart. What you want to do is cut somewhere in between the weld seam and these indentations, because these indentations hold a bracket inside that hold the compressor or the motor. So what you want to do is cut around the compressor all the way, somewhere in that range, pull the top off, and then we'll get into it. Now these are scroll compressors. Depending on what units you scrap will depend on what compressors you have. If you look over here, they actually come in different shapes, sizes, and styles. Generally, they're either going to be scroll compressors or rotary screw compressors, sometimes even piston style compressors. So we're going to focus on this one here today. You'll see me cut across here, and then we'll get into what the next step is. So one thing I didn't mention in the tools that I use, as far as a little safety tip, I've been using these foam earplugs for a while now in the shop, and they're extremely cheap and well worth it to preserve your hearing. So with that, you'll see me start cutting these units apart. All right, so that took about 5 minutes to cut open top of the unit, which exposes the scroll part of the compressor. And this is where you need the external Torx. I think these are number 10s. There's 4 of them. These have compressor oil in them, so once you see me take this off, you'll see me dump out the oil. The way I understand number 1 steel, as it was told to me, generally anything from about 1/4 inch thick on up as far as material thickness is considered number 1. And also number 1 steel cannot hold water. So even though this is probably thick enough for number 1 steel, because this could potentially hold water, they consider this light iron. So I throw this in my light iron bin. This way here, make the scrap guys happy, and it makes it look better on me. This way here, we don't have to argue about what is what. So once those 4 bolts come up, this comes up, and there you can see the scroll compressor as far as what moves the air and liquid. Now this is considered number 1, just because even though it can hold a little bit of water, it can get out. So I put this in my number 1 steel. A little bit of pull. Now we got to dump out the oil and make 2 more cuts. We got to cut down the seam to split the case, and then 1 more right across the bottom. Alright, so now with most of the oil removed, we'll lay it down on its side, come in across the bottom, just above the spot welds that you see, so right up in this range, so about 2 inches up from the bottom. I always like to put a towel down to help catch any residual oil that might dump out of this thing. It's also why I say to save the wheels, because you get 1 good cut out of a smaller wheel, so it really doesn't cost. You're not really cutting into brand new wheels to do this. I will leave you a link for the cutting wheels that I use in the description below. Alright, so now that the top and bottom are cut, we got 1 more cut to make down the case to split it, so that way we can get the electric motor out. The reason I cut it is the magnet's so strong that I can never get it out. So once you cut it, the case splits apart, and then you can pull the magnet and the motor right out. One thing I like to do after I get it cut apart is take a big hammer and hit this with a sledgehammer. This pops out, this becomes number 1 steel, and then the casing is light iron. Light iron. So you're also left with the armature. I pop this plastic case off, and then I always take a chisel and chisel here and here. Nice chunk of aluminum here and here, and then this goes number 1 steel, and then you got aluminum. All right, so this is what we're after. The electric motor inside. All this is number 2 copper, number 2 copper. And then once you're done getting it out, this becomes number 1 steel. So next you'll see me come in here with the depressed center cutting wheel. This is where the depressed center cutting wheel comes in handy. In other videos that I've watched people do these, what they'll do is they'll cut one side down and then they'll chisel them out. But what I've found is, especially with these bigger motors, is if you just take the time to cut both sides, the windings in the actual metal, you can just practically push them out. So that's what you're going to watch next. All right, so there you go. And there's about a pound here, another pound here, and then all the windings are still inside the motor. So the next thing I'm going to do is show you how I figured out how to get those out quickly. And this is how I do it. I have about a 6-inch piece of pipe that I've just kind of come across as being the perfect tool to use on getting the copper out of the electric motors that I have. So all that you do is you pick up this bad boy, you set it right on there. Actually, I kind of missed the most important tool. I have a modified screwdriver. It was a flathead metal top. And normally what I do is I come in here and sit down. And then as you can see, with very little effort, well, take it back. Now you're left with a really nice chunk, probably 30 pounds of #1 steel. Just take a minute, clean all the plastic. All the smoke that you saw when I was cutting the copper off are these little plastic insulators, plus a little bit of the oil residue from the compressor itself. So when you're cutting these apart, make sure that you are in a well ventilated area, so that way you won't have any problems. And that's why you cut them apart. I'd say you get about 3 to 4 pounds of #2 copper out of each compressor, depending on the size. And you know, on average, $1.90, $2 a pound for #2 copper. That's US. So you know, you're looking at the video, you're watching the video, looking at it, saying, "Wow, that's a lot of work. I would never do that." And if you don't want to, that's fine. It is dirty, greasy work. It is dangerous, so you definitely want to make sure that you take all the safety precautions that you can when doing this. And if I wasn't filming it, like I said, I could probably have a unit broke down in 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the size and style. And it, you know, for something on the side, it pays off for me to do it. Every little bit of dollars and cents that you can make for me helps out my family tremendously. So that about wraps up this video. Appreciate you guys hanging out watching this video. If you enjoyed the content, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up, like this video, drop me a comment down below, and please subscribe to the channel over in this area here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.